Welcome to Champions in the Frontline, your most exciting and invigorating youth leadership show. My name is Dorothy MPAAHLA, and it is an honor and a privilege to be your host. On today's show, we are meeting the one and only MTHEMBU. He is the recipient of the MPAAHLA Award and was nominated for 2019, which is done by the Chris Oyakilome Foundation. He is also the recipient of the Diana Award, the Princess of Wales, of course. And he is the founder and CEO of his very own organization called Crushing the Barriers. Stay tuned to meet this dynamic young individual who is changing lives around the world.
Get faith-inspiring testimonies for living in divine health from the Healing School magazine. It's free of charge and easy to download. Just log on to www.enterthehealingschool.org/magazine. Fill in your name and email address. Download now.
Welcome to Champions in the Frontline. I'm sitting here with our outstanding guest, Marvel. Marvel, please tell the guests your full name, where you're from, who you are, just a bit more about yourself.
Thank you so much for having me. It's indeed a great honor and a privilege to be here in this wonderful show. My name is MTHEMBU, the founder and the president of CTB, Crushing the Barriers, which is an organization that started here in the motherland, South Africa, and now it's international. You know, we are covering several regions of the world and still counting. Yeah.
So it's wonderful that you have your own organization. I want to know what inspired you to have your own organization, and tell us a bit more about it, you know?
All right. So yeah, what inspired me basically to start up this enterprise was when I was in grade 11. It was like 2014. So I told myself that, okay, here is life. So I've got choices to make. And most of those choices are summed within two decisions, which is making the wrong one or the good one. And I always wanted to be a blessing to my community. You know, being taught by our man of God, Pastor Chris, he told us that, you know, success is being able to influence other people with your personal investments. So when I heard that, I was like, okay, which means I can do something for my community and make a change. And then that's how, you know, ideas came about, and we started small. And when we started, we never thought that we would grow this big, you know. But then everything which is planted, it needs to grow. So this is the conviction that I always had, that when we start this thing, one day, you know, we'll make it something. But I never knew that it would be, you know, in such a time as this, because now we are internationally recognized by several, you know, organizations and dignitaries in the world. So we're doing well, yeah.
And I love how you say it started with making a good decision, right? You had an option between bad and good, and you chose good, which is what we obviously want our viewers to also do, right? And also, I want to know from you, when you say you have reached many people, what numbers are we talking about, just out of interest?
So, looking at the formation of the organization, we formed it in 2015, and our first event was in 2016. It went very well. And then when we trace the progress that we've made till today, we are roughly on about 129,000 people, most young people impacted that we all over the world, but mostly in Africa, because the other continents we just spread, you know, to them last year, and so we're still in a process of, you know, getting them equipped and ready. But they've been doing something also, you know, in the virtual space. You know, so we are actually pushing forward.
Wow, that's wonderful. And then just tell us about the three main focuses, or you can even give two, of your organization. What do you focus on the most?
Okay, so our organization is a community-based organization. Our focus is to transform lives. Is to transform lives, to transform communities, and to give the youths their life a meaning. There are many youths out here, you know, who are mistaking activity for productivity. So which means they are doing things in circle, and when they're thinking that maybe they're doing the right thing. Like, for instance, going to parties every day or every weekend. I mean, it could sound nice, but you know, that's not an investment. When you live life, you have to live life with the consciousness that there's a tomorrow.
That's true.
Because when you don't have that consciousness, you don't have the motivation to wake up tomorrow.
Exactly.
So we want to transform the whole world. First, when I formed this organization, I thought we'll only operate in Africa. But then before we went into more than 5 countries, the
Wow,
5th country
more than
was
5 countries.
yeah, okay, now it's more than 32 countries. I mean, it's
Oh,
32 countries now.
wow,
It's 32
guys,
countries.
level.
So when we formed it, we thought it's going to be an African vision, you know. Our motto is global unity vision in motion. So way back it was African unity vision in motion. So we changed it after when we reached the 5th country, and the 5th country was France, our first country to be outside of Africa. Then we're still thinking, should we still continue, or maybe they will help us, or because we didn't, you know, want to operate outside of Africa. But then when we saw the need that it's not only Africa that needs transformation.
Exactly.
It's not only Africa that needs transformation. There are many countries out there that need transformation. And sometimes when we speak of transformation, we're not speaking about the infrastructures, the beauty of the country, but the beauty of the mind.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's also why, you know, we allowed it to be in other continents.
So the moral of the story is think globally. Don't just think in your area or in your continent, but think big, because God is a big God. And obviously, you know, if you trust in him, you can go beyond the barriers, right?
Very true.
Hence crushing the barriers.
That's why we're crushing them all the way. You know, there's no
Okay.
limits.
So you know that this is a youth leadership show, right? So I want to know from you, what defines a leader? What is leadership to you?
All right, thank you. So since you're putting it in my words, I like the definition that Pastor always gives, Pastor Chris. But if I can put it in my words, I can say leadership is the ability to cause a change or to ignite a spark within the people that you are leading, you know, convincing them to reach new frontiers. Because sometimes leadership is not basically, you know, having people around you, but it's also about transforming them.
Exactly.
You know,
You have to
I
make
can
a
boldly
change.
say that my representatives in the organization, my colleagues, some of them, you know, when I met them, they didn't know what to do. They didn't have the conviction. They didn't even have a certificate to say he can actually take a directorate role or a manager role. So I saw something in them, and I didn't want to underestimate their investments from inside, because mostly what we look into, we look at the physical appearance, you know. So most people, when I tell them I'm a president of CTB, crushing the barriers, it's hard to believe. You know, it's hard to believe. Yeah. Even besides, you know, like the world that we're living in now, Instagram, Twitter, and everything, the trends that are being set, you know, next thing you're in a gym. I mean, okay, it's good to gym, but focus in your future. Focus in the future in as much as you focus in the gym, because the gym will not pay you.
Wow.
The gym will not pay you. You might become a model, that's good, okay, which means that you're focusing on the future, but don't go to the gym. I mean, everything that you do, it should be able to get you to where you want to be in life. Even when you're walking. I tell you, even when you're walking, sometimes, I mean, I was taught that don't walk like a normal somebody.
Very important.
Very important, like the way
Yes.
you address yourself, the way you represent yourself. I mean, those things, they play an important role in making a leader. But then the moral of this is that leadership basically is from inside.
Yes,
It's discovered from inside. So anyone can become a leader, you know, but leadership comes in different forms.
That's very true.
Comes in different forms. Most people, they want to lead 1,000 people. Sometimes you can lead 2 people and you're a leader.
And you're excellent.
And you'll be excellent. So leadership is about bearing fruits.
So I want to know from you, just give us 5 qualities that make a very good leader. Like, which 5 qualities would you pick?
Okay, 5 qualities. First, being able to relate with people. One of my mentors, the highly esteemed president of Level Next, President Desmond Oyakilome, he once said, when you cannot relate with people, you cannot relate with success.
Wow.
So
That's
first,
powerful.
yes, first you need to know how to relate with people.
Yes.
And then secondly, having conviction.
Yes.
Thirdly, courage. When you have conviction and courage, nothing can stop you.
That's true.
So when you have these 3, you know, you are actually set in a course that is promising, to yield fruits. And then the fourth one is persistence. Being able to be persistent in what you're doing. Because some people, sometimes you start something and then you leave it on the way. It's not easy. I can tell you, it's not easy, but you have to be persistent.
That's true.
And then the fifth one is believing in yourself, because God believes in you.
That is very true.
When you have all these 5 aspects, I trust you become a great leader.
Wow, guys. I hope you got all those 5 and you wrote them down, right? So I want to know, why should anyone take up this responsibility of being a leader? When people say you're called for leadership, why should they take up this call for leadership?
Wow, this is a very great question, and I love it because it's somehow relatable, with my journey in leadership. So I always say leadership is for everyone. Anyone can become a leader, but there's some sacrifices that need to be taken. There's some sacrifices that need to be taken, and it's up to you. It's up to you whether you are ready to tap into the leadership role. But anyone can become a leader.
That's true. So when you say sacrifices, what type of sacrifices are you talking about? Do you mean financially? Do you mean in terms of time? Like, what types of sacrifices did you have to take to get to this point?
Wow. There's a lot of sacrifice that needs to be taken, but if I can point us a few, which is time, your finances, and you as a whole, everything about you. Because sometimes I tell you, there's times when I can say, we'll prepare for a program, and then for that program to happen, the monies that I get, the small monies I get, because I can say that since the formation of CTB till today, most of the programs we did, 90% of them were fully funded by us, like the team members.
Wow.
Wow. That's also a challenge.
So you've had to generate it yourself.
Yes, we had to generate it by ourselves because people didn't see the vision, They didn't understand where we are going and what we want to do and all that. So if you're not a leader enough, you look at the 10 rand or you look at the 100 rand and say, okay, but there's something I need to do. There's something I need to get. I tell you, there are times when I had to walk, doing the work that I was doing, and I would walk. And I remember the time when I went home, I was looking at my shoes and I saw my shoes, there were some holes which were starting to grow there. I was like, wow, and I need to get shoes. But then I was like, okay, but then there's an event that needs to be hosted. So now I had to choose whether I want to be comfortable or whether I want to invest in my future.
And achieve the goal.
And achieve the goal. So now it takes sacrifice.
Powerful. That is extremely powerful. Perseverance is very key, right?
Very key.
And I want to ask you, why should Christians, specifically Christian leaders, take up this responsibility?
Yeah.
Why do you believe?
I believe so much in leadership, and I believe in the leaders in the Christianity in our house. Because the words which we receive, it's like a school. I didn't have to go to a university to become a president of the organization. But I carried some of the teachings which I was getting, and then it helped me to become who I am. So as Christians, it's very important for us to take up the leadership role. Because, there's one saying by Nelson Mandela. It says, fools multiply when wise men are quiet. So now, when I look at that phrase, it stirs up something within me, that, if we sit and let the world do the thing.
Right?
As a Christian, you're sitting, you're taking back your chill, and then you're thinking somebody's going to do it for you. The laws, the policies, and everything that will be done, they will be to favor them.
Yeah, and Pastor was talking about...
They will be to favor. And Pastor, I remember in Love World Next, he told us we have to take up the leadership roles in every industry. Be it medical, be it enterprise, anything, we have to take up the leadership role because we are the seeds of Abraham.
And to be bold about it.
And to be bold about it because, as I said, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy, but it's worth it.
And when you're bold and you're courageous, there are people who will come against you, certain challenges that will come. Can you tell us a bit more about the challenges that you faced and how you overcame those challenges?
One of the challenges that I faced is stereotype. When people look at me, they're thinking probably maybe someone who has to be a businessman or an entrepreneur has to be 67 years old, you know, the norms. So now when a young boy comes, I remember times when I attend meetings in the Department of Education.
Yeah.
When I get there, sometimes, you know, I get there with the gusto, you know, so much vibe. And when I get there, I see the people like they were expecting someone old. And they're like, are you the one, or you still waiting for the person to come in?
Cover, guys.
You know? Yes, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
You shouldn't judge a book by its cover, because you never know what the content of the book is the important value, not the cover. Yes, it's good to have a nice book looking and everything, but the content which is inside the book is the one that is the ability to change or transform you, not the cover.
The substance.
Yeah.
That's why even when you as a Christian, you go to church, you listen to pastors' messages, you get all this knowledge. It's very important to share it, to put it into action. You can't just sit around and be like, okay, you know what, I have all this wisdom and knowledge and understanding, and not make a change, right? Mm-hmm. So it's very important.
It's very important.
So how did you then overcome these challenges, you know? You spoke about the challenges, but I want to know how you overcame them for our viewers at home as well.
So basically, first, you know, I would like to touch this. Very important. You know, prayer is very important.
Yes.
Prayer,
guys, prayer.
It's very important, because prayer separates you from the environment. It separates you from the world, and it takes you to different dimensions, the higher dimensions. So when you pray, you know, the biggest solution to man's problem is prayer. Because when you pray, you receive certain answers. I remember at times, you know, when I started first the organization, it was only sports and charity. But with the prayers and everything, when I was having problems, God will communicate with me. You know, He will communicate with me, give me ideas.
And direction.
And directs me and everything. And then guess what? When you read in the book of Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2, it says, write the vision down. So when it comes, how does the vision come? It doesn't come when you are dreaming, you're asleep. There are certain things you have to do. One of them is prayer. When you are meditating, you receive, you know, when you receive so much from God when you meditate on His word, and He gives you the answers to your problems. So whenever I face challenges, I go to prayer first before I seek any kind of advice or solution. So prayer is the first one, and then also remember that you're doing this for yourself, right? Or rather, not being selfish, but this thing that you are doing, you are the one who has been appointed to do it. So don't mind the masses, don't mind the comments. You know, be focused. Don't look to the left, to the right, because when you start looking to the left or the right, you will see people, of which some people sometimes they will be good and some will be bad.
So I also want to know about your Future African Leaders Award. Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, so last year I was privileged to be one of the 2019 Future African Leaders Awards nominees, the top 30. So it's a very great initiative. You know, it's the biggest youth award in Africa, and it celebrates and it recognizes leadership from the youth. So it's a great platform. I was very happy to see myself, you know, on the top 30, which means Pastor said, when you're a nominee, you are a winner, you know. So I take it like that. I also include it as one of my accolades, you know.
Speaking about Pastor, what was it like to be recognized by Pastor Chris himself, you know?
To be honest, the feeling feels like when you get to heaven and Jesus says, well done, my son, you know.
Oh, goodness.
So this is the earthly feeling when you're here. So when I look at it, it's almost the same. When I get to heaven, you know, Pastor is a big man, he's a spirit. So being recognized by Pastor, it's a big thing. You know, it's a big thing, a greatest achievement in life, if I can put it that way.
Yeah, guys, if you're not inspired by this, then I don't know, hey? So basically, tunnel vision in this aspect is very important because it helps you to focus on a thing and accomplish it, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, so since starting your organization, Crushing the Barriers, what has been your greatest achievement?
Wow, there's so many.
I'm sure there's so
many, but let me just focus maybe on one for the sake of time. The Diana Award, you know, just most recently on the 1st of July, I was recognized along with my organization. We were recognized for the impact that we've made to humanity and also, you know, the communities that we live in. I received the Diana Award, which is an award given to change makers all over the world, young people just like me. you know,
and
for
Diana, you mean Princess Diana?
Yeah, the Princess Diana of Wales.
You know?
Yeah. So it's a great achievement because it's the only award that is named after her, and his two sons, the Duke of Sussex and the Duke of Cambridge, are in full support of that particular initiative. So that's the biggest award that I've received. Although I've received other awards, but this is the biggest one that I've received so far. And yeah, it's really great, eh? Because
congratulations, that is very inspiring. By the way.
Thank you so
much.
much.
Not everybody can say that.
Yeah.
Very much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So speaking about giving back, what are the things that you've managed to achieve for other people? You personally, like, what can you point out and say, I've done A, B, C, and D for someone else?
Wonderful. So, you know, we have transformed many young people out here. Mostly the young people, because that's our main focus, although we still do events for old people. When I look at it, you know, firstly, like giving back to communities, especially the needy, you know. Sometimes when you walk, you see many people who are broken, you know, who don't have hope. And our main priority is giving them hope, is giving them hope for the future, to say, you know, there might be challenges, but don't give up. There might be circumstances and situations, but keep in where you are. So we have went about, you know, feeding communities, sometimes even street kids. Some people, sometimes when you speak, maybe you want to engage them to this, they'll tell you, no, I cannot help these people because they're the ones robbing us in the streets. And then sometimes they're like, okay, you know, you cannot punish everyone for another person's mistake. Even if those who have robbed people join us in our programs, we don't care, because what we want to do is to change their lives.
Exactly.
You know, is to change their lives. Make them better.
You know?
Especially the young people in schools. You know, most people that go to school is just to go there and mark the register and get home. That's what they I mean, I've had friends, I was once in school and I'm still fresh out of school, you know? So I still know this kind of feeling, how it is like. Sometimes you don't want to go to school.
Yeah.
Because you feel like it's boring and everything. So now also with our educational projects, we try to impact the youth and encourage them to stick into education, because it's very important, you know.
It's an important key.
Also in becoming a leader, you have to be educated.
Wonderful. Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power.
And would you say there's such a thing as a natural born leader, or are leaders like made over time, you know?
That's a good question, because I always speak about that when I speak to my directors and managers in the organization. I tell them that no one is born a leader. No one was born a leader. You know, you become a leader.
Yes.
You aspire to become one. So no one is born a leader. I wasn't born a leader. Because I'm not going to tell you the lies and say I was always like this. I was naughty when I was young. I know it. But I had to change. You know, I had to change.
You had to make the choice.
I had to make the choice and say, okay, this is how I would like to live my life. And I chose that decision, and I stick to it. So no one is born a leader, but people are born for leadership.
Wonderful.
You get what I'm saying?
Wonderful.
No one is born a leader, but people are born for leadership. Because sometimes you could be born in a place where it's a place, you know, for leadership. Maybe your family, all of them, they are in the government or presidents or anything. But if you don't give yourself to the teachings of becoming a leader, you never become one. You never become one. So you become a leader. You are not born a leader. It's the same thing. You are not born a Christian, you know. You're not born again, but you become born again. You choose. You make the decision
and take that up.
Yes. So it's like that.
Wonderful. And what do you think is the biggest misconception about leadership?
Okay, the biggest misconception about leadership is basically something that has to do with monetary. Because most people, they think that leadership is about money. You know, it's very good to have money. It's very good. Get me right. Have money.
Nothing wrong with it.
But people don't become leaders because of their money.
That's true.
You cannot call a drug dealer a leader. He might be leading a gang, but they need to look for a different word. Because that, it's not constructive leadership. It's a wrong definition, you know. Even if it's a gang, the drug leader is leading a gang, he's not a leader.
Yeah.
Leadership is about making those who you are leading better. So the biggest misconception is there, because sometimes they see you with money, they think that, you know, you are a leader. Or when you don't have money, they think you don't qualify.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Marvel, for enlightening us. So we've heard from Marvel, and we'll be back right after the break for our other segment.
Start up your day with faith-filled confessions of healing and health from the Healing School mobile app.
Therefore, I declare that I enjoy the life of perfect health and perfect peace always.
Living a healthy, vibrant, and prosperous life depends on the words you speak. Download the Healing School mobile app today on the Google Play and Apple App Store, or visit our website at www.enterthehealingschool.org.
My name is ROMEO SIBANDA. I'm the Director of Programs of CTB, Crushing the Barriers. So basically what I do is I direct programs, so whether it be environmental, educational, and sports, anything, you name it. So what I've learned from Marvel, I've learned that Marvel is a hardworking person. Like, he never gives up on what he puts his mind to, and punctuality is key. So Marvel started this organization, I think 5 years ago, and ever since from then, he's been on point, and he's been doing this thing with diligence, and I've learned a lot of things from him, because I actually joined CTB 4 years ago, and we're like the first people to go to schools and go to libraries and all these projects, and I've learned quite a lot from him, because he's the one who actually inspired me to help other people.
Welcome back to Champions in the Frontline. I'm still sitting here with Marvel. So Marvel, we're in the very interesting, you know, light-hearted part of the show, right? I'm going to ask you a few lifestyle questions just so that our guests can know you a bit more out of the more professional side, right?
Wonderful.
Okay, so if your life was a reality show, what would the name be?
Keeping Up with Marvel.
Keeping Up with Marvel.
Yeah.
Wonderful. All right, so if you were given $1 million today, what is the first thing you would do with that $1 million?
The principle of success, give my tithe.
Wonderful. You heard that, give your tithe, right? And then one more. What was your dream job while growing up as a child, and why?
My dream job was to become a doctor.
Wow.
Because when I was young, I went a lot to the hospital.
Yeah.
So
You wanted to
I wanted to heal people.
Wonderful.
So yeah, that was my dream job.
Lovely stuff. All right, so now we're getting into the fun quiz, right? So I'm going to give you 5 questions. I'm going to ask you 5 questions. You have 5 seconds to answer them.
Wonderful.
All right?
Let's bring it on.
You either get it right or you get it wrong.
Okay.
So are you ready?
I'm ready.
How many sides does a pentagon have?
Pentagon is 5.
3, 5. Excellent.
5, yeah.
Which word becomes shorter when you add 2 words to it? The word shorter. What is filled with tea and starts and ends with the letter T? Very easy one. You fill it with tea, it starts and ends with the letter T.
Teapot.
Lovely. Okay, what goes up when the rain comes down? This one's also very easy.
What goes up when the rain comes down?
Yes.
I was gonna say
Ding,
presentation.
ding, 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 an umbrella.
Wow, I didn't think of that.
Well done. You know what? You did
Yeah.
fairly well.
I tried.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I tried.
Thank you so much. We had so much fun with you, Marvel. And
Thank
we
you.
wish you only the best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for inspiring us, for doing a great job. And you know what? Keep reaching out to many others out there. So, Marvel, do you have any closing remarks for us?
Yeah, in my closing, I cannot, be invited on behalf of CTB without even giving a shout out to my colleagues, the esteemed representatives of CTB. You know, these are champions behind the success that people see. You know, the sweat, they never see it. I'm just there as the face, they're the champions in the front line.
Yes.
Or rather I can say they're the players behind the scene. So I salute them all the time, and yeah, the people also supporting our work. We're really grateful for that. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Marvel. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in at home. We'll see you.